Hey, Kurt here. Today I'm going to give you an intro to my Pong console. This is the Tournament 2000 by Unisonic. Isn't she a beaut? Now, Unisonic was a New York City-based electronics company. They were best known for making calculators, TV sets, digital watches, telephones and answering machines, digital alarm clocks, and for 2 years, between 1976 and 1978, they also made video game consoles. Well, Pong clone consoles to be specific. But first, let's back up to 1972. That's the year that Atari, you may have heard of them, created the very first Pong arcade game. It was so successful that many other companies began producing similar games. Magnavox was the very first company to create a home console version of Pong. They called it the Magnavox Odyssey. Atari made a home console version in 1975. It was sold by Sears, and it was branded as Sears Telegames. Then, in 1976, the market really exploded. At that time, several manufacturers started creating special ball and paddle integrated circuits or microchips. Home electronics companies could buy these circuits or microchips and use them as the brains of their own console. These microchips actually contained the entire game. They had the Pong game logic and rules. They also had the display circuitry for connecting to a TV set. All any company had to do was just add a case, some buttons, and some paddles, and they had their very own Pong clone console. And literally hundreds of companies did exactly that. They all wanted a piece of this new and emerging video game console market. Coleco made the Telstar. Philips made the Telegame. Radio Shack made the TV scoreboard. And Unisonic? Well, they made the Tournament. Between 1976 and 1978, Unisonic marketed 9 different models of Pong consoles. Yes, I said 9 different consoles in only 2 years. And that was just from Unisonic. It was their tournament series, or T series. They made the T100, the T101, the T102, the T150, and the T200, all in the year 1976. In 1977, they made the T1000, not to be confused with the popular sci-fi shape-shifting liquid metal android assassin. And they also made the T2000 and the T2501 that same year, 1977. The following year, 1978, Unisonic only made the Olympian 2600, which was their only color Pong console. By a strange coincidence of model numbers, Atari released their Model 2600 just a few months before Unisonic released theirs. That was really no contest though, because the Unisonic 2600 was just a color Pong console, and the Atari 2600 was a cartridge-based powerhouse that took the world by storm. So that's pretty much why Unisonic stopped working on video game consoles at that time. But enough with the history lesson. Let's play with this console already. Mine is the Tournament 2000 or T2000 model. It was sold in 1977, so I was 7 years old when my parents brought this guy home. It can play 6 different games. I know, right? This really cool sliding switch with the awesome sliding red panel behind it allows the players to choose their game. Isn't it great? The first game is called Tennis, and this is actually your standard 2-player Pong game. The second game, called Soccer, is like Pong or tennis, but there's a goal area to score into. The third game is called Squash. And it's like racquetball, where both players are opposite a wall and they take turns hitting the ball. The fourth game is called practice, and it's basically a single-player version of squash. The fifth game is called targets, and in targets, balls appear from random directions, and you have to shoot them with this amazing light gun. Pew, pew, pew. The sixth game is called skeet, and it's basically the same as targets, only the ball bounces off the walls and you just shoot it as much as you want until you get bored. Most of the other buttons and switches on the console allow the players to configure some beginner versus advanced settings. There's paddle size, there's ball speed, there's also ball deflection angle. And all of these settings can be changed during play, which is kind of fun. And these last knobs on the console are these team slider scorer knobs. Individual games are actually scored in real time by the console, and those scores of the individual games are actually displayed on the screen. But players have to keep track of the number of game wins and the number of losses themselves using these sliders, which is pretty old school, but also pretty cool. You've been patient and you've waited long enough, so now it's time to actually play some Pong. So since Pong is a two-player game, I'm going to see if I can recruit some help from my teenagers. I need help with this. I'm making a Pong video, and Pong is a two-player game. So
you have both controllers. You just use both of them at once.
That's what I need your help with.
You can, look, I could play this game.
First of all, you start with practice. So practice is, it switches to one player.
Yeah.
And then you hit the serve auto.
Oh. Forgot it's not up, it's sideways. That's a little weird. I wish it was up. I wish it went up instead of diagonal. It only goes at one angle, look. It's just bouncing the same direction. Like, go Magic. Go.
Well, to be fair, it was made in 1977. Alright, if you're both warmed up, then switch the game to the top one, tennis. And then hit the reset button. You can put it on auto serve and it'll just keep serving. I'm not going to make you play a whole game unless you're having fun. I just need some footage from that camera of each of the 6 games. So, if you're tired of the paddle being in the unit, it pops out. Only it's not wireless. This is built in 1977, so you have to replace it with a wire if you want to use the paddle remotely. Right there. Nice. Alright, now switch to the next game, which is hockey soccer.
Whoa.
So it's a little bit like foosball, but you don't push the ball, you just hit it. So hit reset to reset the score. And
can it go through you? Why is that a thing?
Well, in one direction, it's kind of like foosball in that way, and how the ball can go through the player toward the goal.
Yeah, but it's super glitchy.
It's not glitchy for 1977. Alright, you want to try the next game?
Sure.
So squash is like practice. It's like handball or racquetball in a racquetball court. You're both on the same side. And you have to take turns hitting the ball, or I think it'll go through the person whose turn it isn't. So try it. You both have to kind of figure out whose turn it is. I think soccer might have been a little more fun. One thing you can do to make it more fun is go to advanced mode in the size of your paddles. And that makes it a little more interesting.
That's impossible. The sensitivity is too fast for it to actually do it.
That's how you keep from getting bored, is to do the advanced paddle size. Another advanced setting is fall speed.
Well, that's impossible. Nice.
Well, she got the bigger paddles now.
Okay, I'm going. The ball's going
Elijah's
straight.
turn.
Oh my gosh, Elijah. Come on. My paddle's
So
going
once
straight through
the score stops at 15. All right, what's the next game? Okay, practice. So skip to targets. All right. So this is target practice,
it.
and it uses voila, the gun. It plugs right into the back here. 70s plug technology right there.
It's a long coil. So there's no.
All right, so you just aim and shoot.
Whoa. Does that mean I'm hitting it?
I don't know. Don't hit it and see what noise it makes. Okay. Okay, it reset. That's the end of the game for some reason. Probably goes to 15 like the others. Okay, so 15 hits. No, wait. Out of 15 balls, you hit 13. So see if you can go perfect.
There was not 15 balls. I shot 15 shots and hit 13.
Oh, so if you miss a shot, yeah. It's not as easy as it looks.
Especially with this technology.
Hey, this was the bee's knees when I was 7 years old.
Well, now this is trash.
Teenagers are so cranky. Elijah, you want to try it?
Didn't want to hit any.
So you basically get 15 shots per game.
Oh my gosh. Does that
Okay,
actually work?
that's curious. So it says that you got all 15. Point it at the black screen, but not at the dot, and do that again.
It's shooting, you're just not hitting it.
Does it not make a noise when you miss?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, it doesn't make a noise when you miss. Huh. So, this is, yeah, those are hits. Do you know how this technology works? It's basically like a 1-pixel camera in there, focused at a certain distance from the camera.
Oh,
and
he's shooting a
and
white
if the
wall.
1-pixel camera sees something white,
He's shooting a white wall.
it's a hit. So if he points it at something light or white, then it gives you the hit.
Okay.
Isn't technology great? Yeah, that's a light color.
Stupid.
Hey, that's 70s technology. Okay, the last game. Switch to the last game. Skeet. It's basically the same shooting game, only the ball doesn't ever leave. I don't know why they don't keep the score up for the other game.
Because you could shoot at the score. And you can
Okay.
still shoot.
You can still shoot at the score. Make sure it's all the way down on Skeet. It just hasn't been played in 20 years.
Do that.
Oh, you were doing so good. That's the last game. What, do you want to try this version of the shooting game? All right. What do you think for 1977? This is before we had. This was the first console, Pong console.
This is bad. This is also bad.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your help.
It doesn't work as well.
Probably you're supposed to play this in a dark room.
Maybe.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Nice.
Well, the teenagers weren't exactly impressed, but they have a lot of cool stuff to compare it to. When I was 7, this was completely awesome because what I had to compare this to was basically, I don't know, a television show, a book. So that's my Unisonic T2000 Pong clone console. Many experts in the industry consider Pong to be the game that launched the video game industry. And the fact that there were so many different companies like Unisonic that used the same microchip to rush to market hundreds of Pong clones may have helped. So tell me in the comments whether or not you liked this video, and let me know if you'd like to see more. Thanks for watching. Bye.